Welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host JT and you're watching Black Box Trading. All right. Yeah, let's get into the technicals. So a lot of people, I feel as though this most recent move in Bitcoin is taking people off guard. And there's a lot of cope out there. It's like they either think it's done because of tariff war or blah blah blah, or they think they are sitting on the sidelines in too heavy of a cash position, but it'll pull back. It'll pull back really hard, and we'll get an entry at the 80s or whatever. There's just a lot of cope. And also another thing that I'm seeing is like the targets have come down way lower. Everybody's like, well, this bull market will probably top out at around 130, 120, 130. That's going to be kind of the top of the market. And I got to say, I pretty much disagree with all of that. Let's jump into the king of all crypto here and take a look at Bitcoin here on the daily chart. And this move is going to continue. In my opinion, this is a sustained rally. We are on top of the 7 daily exponential moving average. And when we have these moves, the 7 holds as very strong support. And you can see that we came down and tested the 7 on yesterday's candle, wicked below, but currently above today's candle. This will probably, I anticipate this to close as a green candle and bounce off of the 7. But when we take a look at these types of moves, these see you later moves that Bitcoin is so famous for, once you get on top of that 7, it just stays on top of the 7. Look at this move here. Like, we finally broke out, we finally got above this resistance point, and we just stayed on top of the 7 for a good long while. And people, they were like, oh, when's it going to pull back? When's it going to pull back? When's it going to pull back? And they said that all the way up for a 60% move. Same back here. Look at this. When's it going to pull back? It's not going to pull back. Now, I can't say that with 100% certainty. Nobody has a crystal ball. I've just been trading Bitcoin for a very long time, and I'm very familiar with how Bitcoin moves sometimes. And when you pair negative sentiment with strong fundamental demand, which is the current environment that I think that we're in right now, there's a lot of fundamental, there's a strong bid behind Bitcoin, and it's not coming from retail. There's a strong institutional and smart money bid behind Bitcoin, and retail is disillusioned and they are quite bearish. When you combine those two things together, you get these rallies that just don't pull back. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Am I being a little hyperbolic here? Do you think that do you think that we're going to get a pullback? Do you think we're going to fall below the 7 here? Do you think that this is the beginning of a rally that's going to break some of these all-time highs? What do you think? These are just my thoughts. Now, on the alphanumerics side of things, our red wave, our bear market indicator, is about to flip bullish, and it is probably going to flip bullish if we get a breakout of this bull flag right here. Let's go down to the 4-hour. Let's dissect this little flag here so we can determine the next move. Now, it's not a picture perfect flag, but I usually keep things quite simple. Let's just grab our rectangle and just encapsulate the price action in this rectangle. That's our flag. When we break below, we'll break below and we'll head to the downside. If we break above, it's probably going to be a break to, in my opinion, a retest of the highs at least up to this kind of 103 area. But if we take a measured move from the bottom of the flagpole to here and slide that up to this current move, we have that correlation up to 103. But the important thing for us is this little dot right here. This little dot right here indicates we are about to get macro bullish on the cycle again. That's when our indicator, this red wave, is going to flip back to green. It was green over here. It was green all the way back here for this entire run. That's our bull market indicator. Right now it's saying bears are in control, and as soon as it takes out that dot, as soon as it takes this dot out, even just a wick, if it touches that dot, we will be flipping back into bull markets in control. And yeah, that's going to be good. Let's actually take a look. Let's go to the weekly actually. Let's go to the weekly and show you the last couple times when this green wave flips. Now, the green wave flip alone isn't enough. If you're new to this channel, then I'm going to let you know that I use market sentiment, the herd. What is the herd saying? What is the herd feeling? What are the vibes? What are the vibes out there? Because you need to counter the trade of the narrative. And the wave is a really good way for you to give a directional bias, and you pair that up with the sentiment. So for an example, here the wave was, it flipped to red, but everybody was also quite bearish. I can't actually remember the event here. Everybody was really, really bearish. And then the very next day, we got the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. So I can't remember why people were bearish. But anyways, I digress. What I'm saying here is sentiment is very negative, and we are about to get a green wave flip. This is going to result in at least a 60% rally. When it's done it in the past, here was the last one. If you got in at the worst possible price, you still got a 50% rally. Here's another one where if you got in at a terrible price, you still got a 15% rally. Here's another one where if you took the absolute worst entry, you still experienced a 143% rally. And then over here as well, this one we actually got a phantom candle, which we are setting up for as well. So we could be looking at a setup similar to this, and this was a 60% rally. So from here, if we flip to green, it'll be, somewhere around here. I'll do the worst possible price, which is down here. A 60% rally brings us up to 160. And in my opinion, we are entering phase 2 of the bull market. Let me just, let's just put things into perspective here. Look at this monthly chart. Look at this monthly chart. We just broke above the prior cycle's trend line, came down, tested it, and we are going to break out and have a massive bullish engulfing candle, 3-bar reversal here, setting us up for a glorious, glorious May. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of phase 2. This is the beginning of phase 2 in the market cycle. This is the most exciting phase. Phase 2, for those who don't know, is basically the market cycle phase where basically everybody became a Bitcoiner or a shitcoiner. If you are from last cycle, chances are, statistically speaking, you came in at the end of last cycle. That's phase 2. That's the most expansive, FOMO, exciting, hundreds of percent, 100-bagger portfolio conditions that we're entering into. And when you really zoom out and look at how things are doing, like this is the monthly chart, that's clean. We just broke out and retested. It's about to fuck right off to Valhalla or whatever the kids are saying these days. Hit my tab there. Boom. We are about to head up to, in my opinion, at least $250,000. At least. That's my bear case for this cycle. What happened to Monero? We can take a look. I think international events playing a big role, honestly, not much for the rest out there. I don't, so there's an interesting divergence happening. International events are playing a considerable role, but it's in favor of Bitcoin. And we haven't seen this before. Bitcoin hasn't existed in the context of kind of a market correction, like a market-wide correction, and it certainly hasn't really existed in the context of, well, no, it has existed in the context of a trade war, and it did exceedingly well. Here's the last time we were in a trade war. Just as a reminder, it was one of the best bull markets that Bitcoin had, was in a trade war. but it's in favor of Bitcoin. We're seeing this because Bitcoin is decoupling from the S&P. It is decoupling from the NASDAQ, and gold is doing exceedingly well, and Bitcoin is doing exceedingly well. So it's like Bitcoin is this asset that does well when tech stocks are doing well. It's like tech stocks on leverage, right? But now tech stocks are not doing well, and Bitcoin seems to be doing better. So it's either Bitcoin is rallying or Bitcoin is rallying a lot. But Bitcoin is just not, it's just doing its normal Bitcoin things, and it's just a matter of how well it's doing it. So I am not worried in the slightest. Bitcoin is rocking and rolling. We're up at $93,000 again. This thing's going to at least $250,000 this year, in my opinion, and higher targets are definitely on the table, in my opinion, as well. But yeah. We will take a look at Monero, but I want to do that natural transition into altcoins. So, definitely no on that. So let's first do a little bit more fundamental stuff. Let's take a look at the dollar. Dollar's not doing much. It dumped really hard, and now it's just chilling. Let's take a look at the S&P. How was this week on the S&P? Just fabulous. Fabulous. We're almost back above the resistance. So this is great. This is what I'm expecting for the S&P and the NASDAQ as well. We have the FOMC meeting in a few days too. I have a sneaky suspicion there's going to be a rate cuts. I think Jerome Powell is beginning to be afraid of Donald Trump firing him if he doesn't play along. But this is what we're going to get. And then it's going to get above that, and we will be off to the races. I'm bullish. Long story short, I'm bullish. I'm very bullish, as I have maintained since 18K. I do not waver. When we are in a bull market, I'm the first one in the bull market, and I'm the first one out of the bull market. Obviously, that's hyperbole. I'm not the first one in and the first one out. But I've been trading these cycles long enough that I know when to put my foot on the gas pedal, and I know when it's definitively over. And it's not over. It's not over. This bull market will continue. This bull market is going to shock some people. It's going to shock a lot of people. The targets that I'm hearing out there are just, what are these? Targets for ants? These are nothing. They're ridiculous. These targets are so fiat minded. You guys have no idea. You have no idea how quickly Bitcoin can move. Not you. These guys that are coming up with ridiculous targets. So that's the S&P. Same thing with the NASDAQ, making the recovery. NASDAQ's already cleared above. NASDAQ is always moving faster than the S&P. No surprises there. So traditional finance is making a recovery. How is MSTR doing? MicroStrategy is moving up, moving on up. Not surprising. Bitcoin's moving up. MicroStrategy's moving up. And GameStop is also moving up, but not very strong. Not very strong. But, that narrative that we've been talking about, how you're going to get kind of a mania phase in the stock market driven by Bitcoin holdings, that's already taken place. We got the new SPACs coming out. The 21 is the ticker with Jack Mallard as the CEO of that company. It's beginning. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of a huge Bitcoin FOMO driven narrative. And guess what? There's no Bitcoin to go around. There is so little Bitcoin. We have the same amount of available supply as we did in 2018. There is very little Bitcoin out there. If we put a strong FOMO bid on Bitcoin right now, whoosh, the price is going to skyrocket. People think that the price of Bitcoin is determined by how much money goes into Bitcoin. No, it's not. There's a multiplier effect that is set by supply and demand. Right now, demand is not very high, but supply is also very, very low. So Bitcoin is in a bull market. Demand is not very high, but supply is also very low. Supply is going to continue to be low, and demand is about to go through the roof. That puts a multiplier effect on price. So for every dollar, you might get a multiplier of $5, $10, $15 worth of market capitalization. It's not a matter of how much money goes in. That doesn't go to market cap. Market cap is not a pool of liquidity. Market cap is a representation of the last price paid. If nobody's selling their Bitcoin, what do you have to do? You have to offer more for it. If I'm not selling you my Bitcoin and you really, really want my Bitcoin, what do you need to do? You need to offer me more. And that's what the markets are good at. So if the demand's really high, you got to offer more and more and more, and the price just skyrockets. That's what we're setting up for. All right. That's traditional finance. Good enough. Little peak of gold, and then we'll move into altcoins. Gold just doing gold, man. Gold keeps on rallying. Gold keeps on rallying. We'll have to see how it reacts to the FOMC meeting, but gold keeps on rallying. I don't know what a bad narrative for gold would be at this point. The money printer's running. Nation states are de-dollarizing. People are looking for a neutral currency, and they want physical custody of that neutral currency. So gold is doing exceedingly well. Bitcoin will be, Bitcoin's just the better version of gold. So Bitcoin will be the beneficiary of that narrative as well. And if money becomes cheap, it just keeps on going. It just keeps on going. Okay. Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance continuing to climb. Now, we could see this be, did I say decline? Continuing, no, I said continuing to climb. We could see this begin to decline because we are kind of entering a good fundamental time in the market where people kind of FOMO into shitcoins, and that is token. So token 2049, if you guys are going to be there in Dubai, I will be there. So maybe we will see each other. But yeah, I'm going to token 2049. That's day after tomorrow. And it's the largest shitcoin convention in the world. Tens of thousands of people buy tickets to these events. And many people will be convinced to inject liquidity into shitcoins. So we could see market dominance fall. We could see it fall here. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Will it have that much of an effect? I'm not sure. But what I do know is when this begins to fall, we'll be there. We'll be there. And I'm going to let it fall quite a bit. If I see a red candle on the weekly, I'm not jumping in. I need to see a red candle quite severely close below the levels that we have set here at around 60%. And then you catch the meat of the move. You catch the meat of the move out of here. Catch a 30% fall in Bitcoin dominance. You will be a very wealthy man. All right, now we can move into some of the shit coins. So something happened to Monero, XMR. Before we get into Monero, I just want to point out that, of course, something happened. It's not altcoin season. It's not altcoin season. Deep had a reaction. Casper had a nice rip today, but until Bitcoin dominance is printing red candles, you need to run under the assumption that every rally, every bit of exciting news, every bit of, beautiful price action that you see in an altcoin will be erased. It will be erased when this chart is in an uptrend. Only when this chart is in a downtrend will you really see exciting moves in the altcoins. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at XMR. I gotta have Monero on here somewhere, right? No. Okay, so you're saying it's rallying. Here it's rallying. Well, that's even better. So maybe we are getting those signs of strength. Maybe we are getting closer to that actual rotation. But it's still an uphill battle. I'm not willing to jump into this just yet. I mean, any more than we did on the Binance delisting. 143% up since that call in the private group. If you guys aren't in the private group, what are you doing? Get in the private group. It's free. It's free, and we make 100x calls all the time. This is a 100% call, but we make 100x calls, and we've even done, shout out to Dunestack, who got Natcats on our radar. 2,500x on Natcats. Insane gains on Natcats. You heard that right. 2,500x, not percent. 2,500x. There will be more of those. All right, so Monero's having a little pop, little sign of strength. Getting ready, getting frisky, looking good, actually. So I put the disclaimer that it's an uphill battle. If it is winning against this uphill battle, that's good. That's good. So yeah, it's getting ready. But you can see there's still a lot of sell pressure. There's a lot of whales who aren't convinced in this asset. So, it's volatile. What's the best way to handle this? Guys, you've heard me say it a million times. No leverage. Just spot. If you like the alt, buy it. That's it. Don't get all screwed up with leverage. Do not trade alts on leverage. Spot in a wallet. Chill. Bull market over. Go in. Sell. There's no reason to trade an altcoin on 10x leverage. That's being greedy. There's an old saying in the markets: bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Okay? Don't be a pig. Don't be greedy in this market. Leverage is for Bitcoin. You can trade Bitcoin on leverage. You don't trade altcoins on leverage. You're just asking for a slap in the face when you do that. So, buy your spot Monero. It looks like it's just kicking off. It's getting ready to roll. And it'll be at a higher price by the end of the bull market. What more do you want? What more do you want? Deep pump too. Yeah, I don't know what. We looked at deep. Yeah, I mean, you're in it. You're in deep. I won't be buying it. Especially now. Like, unless it pulls back to here, which at this point I think is extremely unlikely. I'm not buying this. I'm not buying anything above that. So it'll probably go the rest of the bull market above that. And now people do get confused when I say stuff like that. Guys, there's literally 10 million coins out there. You can't buy them all. These aren't Pokemon, guys. You don't gotta catch them all. You pick 5. So, Google email account, you're in deep. It's looking good. You're rocking and rolling, man. You're in what I consider to be the safe zone now with this position. Ride it, man. Ride it to the end of the bull market, because you're in a good position there. Could have been the time for BTC to become the role of gold during the war. I think it is. Bitcoin is taking the role of gold. It had its first international trade settlement between China and Russia. China and Russia did a strategic trade settled in Bitcoin. A country and a country traded with each other, sanction-free, permissionless, and decentralized, using Bitcoin. Do you think that's a one-off thing? Do you think that that's never going to happen again? It's going to happen again, and it's going to happen more frequently and more frequently. And guys, if you're holding Bitcoin out there, you quite literally are holding the next reserve asset of the world. You are holding the global trade currency of the world. It's not today. It's certainly not today. But you are holding one of the most valuable trade currencies in the entire world. Be patient. Be patient. Be far more patient than you're willing to be. I mean, this stuff takes time. Imagine being an investor at the beginning of the internet. It took a long time for the internet to catch on. It's the same shit. It's protocols. There is no marketing department of Bitcoin other than user experience being like, you know what? This stuff's great. That's the marketing department of Bitcoin. Takes time. There's no ad spend on Bitcoin. What do I think about Ondo? I think it's a shitcoin. Let's take a look at it. I know I have Ondo on here somewhere. There's Ondo. Double bottom formation. Double bottom formation taking place here. I think that it'll chop around here and then start to expand. It'll break above this and then it'll really accelerate. The bull market's coming. It's right around the corner. We are literally 2 to 6 weeks away from seeing a market condition where altcoins really begin to consistently outperform Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still going to lead the charge. Bitcoin is leading. Bitcoin is going to continue to lead. But in the next 2 to 6 weeks, in my opinion, and I'm talking in weeks now, I'm not talking in months. In the next 2 to 6 weeks, I see the market conditions where altcoins at a very minimum pound for pound move with Bitcoin, because right now Bitcoin is outperforming. That's exactly what this chart represents, is Bitcoin pound for pound is doing better than altcoins. That's why Bitcoiners are up 500% and altcoiners are down 90%. But if within the next month, the next couple weeks, we're going to see that market condition change where altcoins are going to meet or exceed the performance of Bitcoin. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be good. Talking about Pokemon, Sui might have a partnership with Pokemon. It's funny. I can't remember. There was another altcoin back in the day that had a partnership with Pokemon. I can't remember what it was. If anybody in the chat remembers who was partnering with Pokemon, it was either an NFT project or it was a blockchain to issue Pokemon NFTs, but there was a partnership with Pokemon. I wonder if anybody in the chat remembers that one. That's from the last cycle. That's 2020, around that news. But Sui has a partnership with them. Let's take a look at Sui. Sui's one that we've been eyeing. I've stopped paying attention to Sui as closely as I have in the past because I'm much more interested in Sonic now. But Sui's definitely got a lot of market attention. So Sui's looking good. Yeah, Sui's looking really good. Sui's looking great. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Where are we? Where are we? We are above this line. What are we when we are above this line? We are bullish. We are bullish. We are bullish on Sui. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. We are bullish on Sui because we are above this line. So that's looking good. That's looking good. Next step for me is to see red candles on Bitcoin dominance. Once we start seeing those red candles on Bitcoin dominance, I'm going to be pretty darn tempted to take a position in Sui, which I don't even know how to do. That's how out of the loop I am in the altcoin space right now. Like, I know I want to buy Sui, but I actually don't know how. Like, I mean, I do know how, but I don't keep shit on the exchange. Like, I'm going to go to BitGet and I'm going to swap some Bitcoin for Sui. but I need to take possession of the SUI, and SUI's a layer 1, so I got to learn a new wallet. That's all I'm saying. Got to figure out a new wallet for SUI. If you guys have some wallet recommendations for SUI, let me know. Pro tip out there, by the way, we already mentioned earlier how you can't take a position in everything. There's 10 million coins out there. One way for you to really manage yourself and manage your FOMO is to force yourself to take your assets into self-custody. So if you're going to take a position in an altcoin, you're not just going to buy it on an exchange. If you're buying shit on an exchange, you're going to have like 20 or 30 fucking things. It's just over time. Oh, somebody said this is bullish. I'll take a position in that and I'll sell a little bit of this for that. And like, you get so muddied up on the exchange. But if you make a well-informed decision that you're going to take a position in an altcoin, take it off of the exchange and put it into its designated wallet. That will cause friction. And that friction will keep your original investment thesis in check, and you'll do so much better when it's so easy on the exchange there. And I'm an exchange shill. I should be just saying keep all your money on the exchange, but for those who have been watching me for a while, we all remember FTX. The less you do, especially into the conditions that we're coming into right now, guys, I cannot stress enough. Everything is going to go up. Everything is going to go up, and it's going to go up quickly. And the more times you press buttons and sell, oh, I got this, SUI went up 200%, so I'm going to sell 25% and put it into this other obscure altcoin and do that. The more shuffling around you do from this point to the end of the bull market, the less money you will make. The less money you will make. If you continue to shuffle shit around, make adjustments to your portfolio from this point forwards, you will make less money. So figure it out. Figure it out now, because these are your final days to figure it out. Figure out what you want to have exposure for, what you want to have exposure to, figure out why you want to have exposure to it, and ignore everything else that comes out from this point forwards, because it's not going to do as well as what you have conviction on. Trust me on this one. So yeah, SUI's looking good. SUI is looking good. Mauricio's not on the stream, but we'll go ahead and take a look at CRV for him. Don't worry, Mauricio, we got your back. We know you've been eyeing CRV. CRV's great, man. It's so clean. Hopefully this turns into a really good trade, because it is quite clean and nice. It's a nice little setup. So nothing's changed there. We're still climbing. We're still climbing. XRP, how's XRP doing? Doing good on the fiat pair, but we don't care about that. Still bearish. Bearish until proven otherwise. We got to get out of this channel. Once we've gotten out of the channel, then we become bullish, but we're still in it, so we're bearish. We'll have to see. It had quite a rally off of the bottom here, and it got the market very, very excited with XRP. Very, very excited for debt slaves. But hey, some people just love the banks. Some people still think we need banks. I don't. You and I know different. You and I know better. Casper. Somebody shouted out Casper. It's kind of a... Casper had a nice rip today. Sure did, but it sure gave a lot back. Is that all in one day? Yeah, it had a nice rip. It had. Emphasis on had. It rallied at the from the open. It rallied damn near 100%, 88%. but that was quite short-lived. Quite short-lived, and it's so far given back 40%. 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. That's better than 1 step forward, 2 steps back, but still. Mexi, welcome in. What's going on? Solana, how's our beautiful Solana doing? How's our good friend Solana? Yeah, negative sentiment in the Solana space right now. Which means there's good value. There's good value. We reclaim the 7. That's step 1. There's a setup here. For those wanting to trade the short term, I think short term Solana is going to rip. Solana is also going to be very, very front and center. It always is front and center with these events. So token 2049, there's going to be a lot of Solana shilling. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a bounce here for Solana. Just reclaim that 7. It loves to bounce off of a reclaim of the 7. Here's the last time it did it. It was below, 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 got above, reclaimed, big rally. Below, 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 got above, reclaimed. We could be looking at a rally. And that rally can at least bring us up this high. Yeah, Solana's looking tempting, not gonna lie. 50%, you want 50% more Bitcoin? I think Solana can give you 50% more Bitcoin in the short term. HNT doing well. So is STX. So we're seeing, you know, we're back in popcorn season. We're back in popcorn season. That's not altcoin season, it's popcorn season. Why is it called popcorn season? Because things just pop off over here. Pop, 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 pop. And it's random. You don't know what's going to pop next. HNT. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of got a cup and handle situation for me. Cup and handle. We got our cup and handle, the aliens that hold double-handled cups. How are we doing in the ordinal space? How's fractal Bitcoin doing? Disgusting. Disgusting. Why did I start with fractal Bitcoin? Ordi, nothing. Sats, abysmal. What a terrible, terrible retrace in that market. My God. My God. Am I even in profit on this anymore? 350% profit. I guess that's something. Track. See, this is why I put rules in place. A lot of people got really excited with all the hypermall shit. I don't give a shit about your hypermall. I do not give a shit about your hypermall. If you're in a downtrend, you're in a downtrend. So until you can get above this line, I will not be excited. When you get above this line, I will be excited. But you're not. So go home. Nobody likes you. Evernote took a beating. Yeah, there's still a lot of bad shit out there. There's still a lot of bad sentiment to overcome. You know, there's a lot of people that are down bad, and when people are down bad, guess what they don't do? They don't shield the token that they're down bad on. They just don't. When it goes back up, they'll tell everybody, but while it's down, they're quiet. They're very quiet. All right, let's just recap with Bitcoin, and then we got to get out of here. This is going to break out. It's going to break out today. Bitcoin's in a bull flag. That bull flag is going to break out today. That breakout is going to cause our red wave to flip to green, which I hope you are ready for, because Black Box is back. Our Black Box trading bot is back. So if you aren't already set up on Black Box, definitely get set up, because as soon as the day closes on a breach of 97,466, Black Box is going to initiate a trade. So you're going to want to be in that trade, because those trades are massive. Like I said, at least 60%. Let me pull up the old Black Box account here. Oh, go to Black Box, BLKBöX.pro, ladies and gentlemen, and get started. Log into your dashboard and turn Black Box on. Let's open up the dashboard. Make sure that you are long and strong. No bots found. We should have bots. Oh, I don't have. I got to get Black Box up and running. I guess I disabled it when I did the tutorial video, probably because my password was too weak on the tutorial video. Anyways, go to BLKBöX.pro, get signed up, get in the group, get bull run ready. Like, fuck, if you've been getting beat down this cycle, or maybe you've made some poor decisions because you've, made the mistake that so many people make by following the advice of literal paid shills. These people are heartless. Like, these people are scum, where they will do anything for fucking Tether too. That's what drives me nuts. Like, whenever I take payments in this market, it's Bitcoin. Like, if you are gonna be so disgusting to fuck somebody over for money, at least fuck them over for Bitcoin. But these dumb shills who are the reason that so many of you are holding garbage bags, they're taking Tether payments. Like, these guys are fiat minded losers. Get into a group that has your back. It doesn't even have to be mine, but just be freaking careful with who you are taking your advice from out there. There is a lot of paid garbage. Don't believe me? Go to Token 2049. I'll be there. It is what it is. I know what it is. But, tens of thousands of crypto shills at Token 2049. So anyways, I digress. I don't even know what I'm saying, but get bull run ready, because phase 2 is coming. Phase 2 is going to come in the next couple of weeks. Next 2 to 6 weeks, we're going to be in full-blown phase 2 of the bull market. Phase 2 is incredibly exciting, and phase 2 is incredibly short. So get fucking locked in. Get ready. That is all the time I have. We will see you guys tomorrow. I will be streaming tomorrow, but Token 2049 is on Wednesday. I might put a show out, but it's not going to be like this. It'll be probably crypto style, where I'm just on my phone and sharing a few updates if there's a move in the market. But I just will do today's live stream and tomorrow's live stream. So we will see you tomorrow, but after that, I will be distracted with Token 2049. So with that, thank you all for joining into today's live stream. We will see you guys on the next one. And until next time, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there.